Good morning. It's about, getting close to 7:45 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States, February 8th, 2022. So this morning I'm going to make something that y'all have probably heard of, and maybe you've wondered, well, what is it and what's the big deal? I'm going to make a Cafe Americano. So a lot of people may think an Americano is just a cup of coffee. But no, what it is you make espresso and then you add some more water to it. And it tastes different than a regular cup of coffee because the flavor of that espresso is really strong. And when I say strong, I don't mean that it's like a strong cup of American coffee. It's a flavor that is unique to the espresso. So I was looking up what is the most popular Nespresso espresso, and at least in 2022, and it is Ristretto. And interestingly, I read some reviews. Let's see, I'll find my Ristretto here. I read some reviews, and the reviews said that several reviewers thought that Ristretto was also the best espresso. Interesting. So I've got my little lungo cup, okay? Now this is how I'm going to make this. And this is how you can make it at home. And of course, if you have a different kind of espresso maker, that's okay. Oh, let me heat the water up. Now, this is not going to have any milk in it. Sure, you can have milk in a Cafe Americano. Just so you know, though, whenever you add something or change the proportions of the ingredients of your cup of coffee, or I should say with your espresso-based drink, it has a new name. For example, a latte is usually considered an espresso with steamed milk. A cappuccino is an espresso with steamed milk and frothed milk. A breve is an espresso with half and half. Actually, in Italy, there's an institute that gives official names and descriptions to all these different kinds of coffees. But in America, we sort of, kick around a lot of different names. And usually I call a coffee that's got a lot of milk, whether it has froth or not, a latte. I don't even bother with the name cappuccino because actually that has certain proportions of I'm saying coffee, espresso, milk, froth. So, don't stick too closely to the names I'm telling you. But this is going to be a Cafe Americano. Okay, so first I'm going to run this Ristretto capsule on the espresso setting. So that's 1.35 ounces. Now, of course, Ristretto technically is more like 0.8 ounces, but I would have to reset my machine. Not going to do that. Okay, so here I've got, let me show you closer up. Okay, so there is my Ristretto. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to eject that capsule. Okay, so there's no capsule in there. Way down there in the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to close my machine with no capsule in it. I'm going to hit the lungo button. Okay, so this is going to be putting plain water, 3.7 ounces actually of plain water. So altogether I'm going to have about 5 ounces here. Okay. that's a Cafe Americano. Let me give it a little stir up to stir in the crema. So you might say, well, gee whiz, you just diluted your espresso. Well, it's closer to an American cup of coffee in strength, but in flavor, it's a special flavor because of the espresso itself. Let's give this a try. Oh, it's gonna be hot. Let me be careful. And yes, indeed, it tastes like an American style cup of coffee, but there's that special flavor from that Ristretto espresso that I used to make it. Ooh. And for me, actually, this is very tasty. I don't feel like I need to put milk in it or sweetener. However, if you make yourself a Cafe Americano, or for that matter, any kind of espresso-based coffee, or golly, even just regular, plain old American coffee, whatever, Maxwell House, or, something like that. If you brew it and it's too strong or bitter for you, add a little milk or add a little sweetening, and that will help cut some of that bitterness or just too strong flavor that you have. Now, with a Cafe Americano, let me go ahead and get my oat milk, because, now some people, I don't know, I'm not this way, but some people have heard that with a Cafe Americano, that it is just supposed to be espresso with added water. And if they're out somewhere and they order it, they feel embarrassed to ask for some milk. Nah, don't worry about it. Try it though with just a little splash of milk in it. Now I'm doing this to see how it affects the flavor. Even though it tasted just fine to me before, I want to see what a little milk does. And you can see by the color, I did not add much milk at all. That's pretty tasty. You know what? If you wanted to add a whole bunch of milk to it, that's fine. Don't feel embarrassed. These days, well, I remember back in the 1960s, my mother used to go on these diets. Like, she went on Weight Watchers, and they would tell you, if you go to a restaurant and order a sandwich, tell them don't put butter on it, because it was a common custom to put butter on the bread, because it sort of sealed the bread so it wouldn't get soggy from the ingredients in the sandwich. And they said, just tell your waiter or waitress that it makes you ill, because, no waiter or waitress wants you to get ill at their table. Well, these days, you don't have to make up excuses like that. You can just say, please, don't put this in or put that in. I think, it's like Burger King, have it your way. So don't be embarrassed about asking for milk in your Cafe Americano or however you want it. These are names, a lot of them are historical or technical kind of names sometimes. They're cultural. And of course, these things can vary from coffee shop to coffee shop sometimes. Have it your way.